Welcome back to my channel. Although candy corn is probably one of the sweetest candies out there, we are going to take a look at some of the most ghoulish, grotesque, frightening, fierce, freaky routines that we ever did on Dance Moms. You are the doll on the shelf.
Come on, come play with me.
Let's start with the solo. Presley in season 8 did a piece about Annabelle. You all know Annabelle, it's the horror story movie, right? The little girl at the end of the hall. That was Presley. I thought she did a great job. She did not even place. That was the scary part.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are.
That's me. I just heard my voice. There's a voiceover on the song, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I don't remember ever recording that. I must have done it in class, in rehearsal, when she was learning the routine, and they used it, and they are still using it on the show. So we have Maddie, once again, with Lizzie Borden. I talk about that routine a lot. It should have won an Emmy. Yeah, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Lizzie Borden, hatchet, 40 whacks with the hatchet, and then 41. So that is always going to come on Freaky Friday. You know, that's always going to be one of those classic chiller thriller moments. All right, now let's move on. We did a mannequin number. Now some people are afraid of mannequins, and there's a lot of movies where the mannequins come to life. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm sleeping and I wake up, or you know, you get up in the middle of the night to use the ladies' room, whatever, and there's a head. My wig is on the fake styrofoam head. It freaks me out. You like take a second look, you know, you have to glance back at it and say, oh my God, what is that? So mannequins, the heads, the wigs on the heads, that's all kind of freaky with the right lighting. And the girls did a routine about mannequins, and they had flesh-colored unitards on with rhinestones. It was a really good number. It was a really pretty number. It wasn't really scary until you saw the mannequins in the dark. Lizzie Borden killed her mother with 40 whacks.
With an axe.
40 whacks. Then there's back to Maddie doing Lizzie Borden. And her mother and the kid, and maybe even Gianna, were trying to get out of using the actual prop. No way was that ever gonna fly with me. That kid was gonna get out there with that axe. Plus, whenever you use something heavy in your hands like that, it makes you turn faster, and it makes you turn sharper. So now we're on to the Black Dahlia. This is a famous story. And just seeing Bryn in the black wig, that's enough to freak some people out. So we just saw Bryn do the Black Dahlia, and now Bryn is featured in the next routine, clowns. Many people in this world are afraid of clowns. I mean, really afraid, and these were scary clowns. I'm not gonna get into makeup right now, but we have a new video coming out all about the theatrical makeup that we did on the show. And my makeup artist, who was with me for 8 of those 10 years, she is going to do some special effect makeup on me. So don't forget to check back for that. Turn on your post notifications right now, and you will be alerted when that new video drops. All right, here we go. There were 2 amazing parts of this routine. One was the very end of the number, when Bryn puts the mask over her face. So you realize that she really wasn't afraid of these clowns, and she wasn't trying to, you know, get away from them. She actually was the scary clown. She was the bad clown. The kids were nervous about going through the audience. Anytime you have to go through the audience and then get up on the stage in time for the routine to start can be nerve-wracking, because something could happen. You could trip over some lady's purse, or maybe some, you know, dad thinks it's funny to, you know, chase you through the audience. Who knows what people think? But you need to get in, you need to set the tone for the piece, and get up onto that stage right in time for a music cue. So I love when Nia is sticking her face out of the side and she's just completely still. Then other people are going through the audience and like staring at people. It's great. And anytime you do an interactive routine like that, it could go wrong or it could go really, really right.
You're lifeless, sluggish, and boring.
We did a zombie routine, and this routine was used in my studio during competitions with more kids in the number. They were supposed to be busts. Do you know what that is? It's like your head and your neck, your décolleté, on top of a column. Why? Because I happened to find these columns, and they were a good price, and there were a ton of them, and I bought them, and I thought, we're gonna use these. So my inspiration for routines comes from, all different places. I put one of the moms in charge of the costumes. I think it was Holly. Would I really put her in charge of the costumes? Like, did she have to find them and buy them and make them? No. They just had to make them dirty and rip them up. That was the fun part. And you can see the moms did have fun stomping on their kids' costumes. They looked like stone. They had to have gray, purplish makeup on, and then there were some cuts and wounds and, how did they die? And they were zombies. It was a great number. The music that they used for the television show is not the music that I used in competition. Mine was much better.
You ain't even all that scary.
The other thing is the busts on top of the columns. There were only 5 kids in that number, or 6 maybe. When I did it, there was a line across the stage. There must have been 15 kids, and they all were posed. So it was much more intricate choreography and cleaner and cooler, scarier.
I'll show you the dark side. I'll show you the dark side.
JoJo gets a solo, jazz, funk, hip hop. As soon as I say the title, I'll show you the dark side, immediately you see JoJo take control of that character. Immediately she starts doing all this and moving around, and because that's JoJo. JoJo embraces the title. She embraces the character immediately. I don't even tell her what she's doing. She's already into it. You gotta love that. As a dance teacher, a choreographer, you have to love when a kid likes the title or likes the music or likes the concept. And JoJo did just that. Now another kid might have been like, with their hands in their mouth. Or, I don't know if I want to do that. Already rolling their eyes at their mother. Let's see how I'll show you the dark side turned out.
I'll show you the dark side, and I'm showing everyone the dark side.
The makeup on JoJo was outstanding. She had like a flesh-eating disease on the side of her face. It was green and it was gruesome. She loved it. Was this a big winning number for her? I can't remember. I know that there were some great steps, but she couldn't do a whole lot in those big, funky black and red hip hop shoes.
Lily, you've escaped from a sane asylum. That's somebody dark.
The straight jacket dance, the straight escape. JoJo escaped from her jacket. Her arms whoosh, flung out. The big strips of fabric that you tie behind you, they were loose and going everywhere. Lily, no. She stayed tied up the whole time. We had to do something different. If you're going to do a number and then do it again, you have to do it better. So remember that out there. Any dance teachers or choreographers are watching. If you reuse somebody's solo routine, you have to do it better. You have to push the envelope a little further. And we did that with Lily. That's another routine that should have won an Emmy. Yep. I hope when people remember Dance Moms, they don't remember the crazy moms fighting with me. No, they remember this routine because it was brilliant and it received 300, a perfect score.
There's a monster coming out of you.
Kendall was given a routine called the Scream. We were trying to get Kendall to quit, talking like a teenager and actually emote, give us something. She's fairly good in class, but on stage, she holds back. She clams up, and she dances as if she's dancing through water. I always used to tell her that. It's like kind of slow motion, like get on the beat. I wanted her to do something different with the scream. I wanted her to be Maddie for a minute, or be Lily for a minute. You know, just let yourself go. Let it all go. Put yourself out there. And I had to scream quite a few times to teach her how to scream. She did it. She screamed. It was great. The timing was right. And her makeup, by the end of the routine, well, pretty scary. Yes, yes. The producers always had a thing about making a pretty kid ugly. And Kendall was a pretty kid. She was beautiful. I mean, she still is, but they wanted to make her dark and put scars on her face all the time, and I fought them as much as I could, but you know, there's only so much a girl can do. Edward
Scissor hands.
Season 8. I'm pretty much finished with fighting. It's been 8 years, hundreds and hundreds of episodes. To fight with the producers about cockamamie, idiotic, asinine ideas, I'm over it. It's not worth it because I know I'm gonna get myself all worked up and nothing's going to happen. They want to get me worked up. So, Presley, Edward Scissorhands, she is going to do a routine with knives taped onto each finger. Cardboard knives, and they're metal, and I don't know what they're made of, but it was just a catastrophe. This was a nightmare waiting to happen. Here's another pretty little girl whose mommy owns the dance studio, who gets everything she wants. And now she's out there with horror makeup on her face. I mean, she really did look like him. And 10 knives taped to her hands, trying her damnedest to get her leg up there and do those side aerials and swing her arms up behind her. And I don't know whether they're trying to make fools out of the kids or not. But just know, that was not me. No way. Carrie. It's a movie. John Travolta, Sissy Spacek. It's a classic cult following film, right? And it was actually made into a Broadway show. It opened and closed in the same night. I guess it was bad. I heard the dancing was incredible, so I don't know what happened to the show. Now, JoJo did it, and then JoJo came back as a guest on season 8, and Eliana did it. They both embraced the character. They both went for it with the facial expressions. When I put the blood on JoJo, I kind of trickled it on her and down the costume. When JoJo put the blood on Eliana, she just dumped it like from a watering can, like bloop, all over the kid. It was nuts by the end. I'm just thankful that it didn't get on the stage.
Forming the Witches of East Canton, this is the Abbey Lee Dance Company.
Then we had the witch numbers. You know, not Kathy Solo, no. Witch numbers. We had the Witches of East Canton. There were a couple other witch numbers, I think. And some days, I wore my witch hat to work. Well, the Witches of East Canton were 1,000 times better than that one witch in Canton, Ohio. Yes, you know who I'm talking about.
Entry number 63 is a preteen group contemporary, light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Now, when I went to slumber parties, or I had friends over, we used to do the seance. Now, the room is dark, everybody is quiet, you're kneeling on your knees, and you have 2 fingers on each hand, slid right under the person and you're all spread apart, right? Whoever's at the head of the body, they have their hands underneath the shoulders, and that's one of the most important people. So this number is a slumber party. The girls are there, they play with the Ouija board, and then Chloe takes a robe off and she's in black, and I guess she's the spirit they're trying to call back with the Ouija board, and she comes to life, and I don't know. It was kind of sloppy if you ask me. Too bad we saw all the hands going down when they lifted her up. She was doing a back walk over out, and we saw a lot of hand movement. But it is what it is. The kids learned these dances in 2 hours, 2 days. So we did the best we could. Here's wishing all of you a very happy and safe Halloween season. I will be back with more tricks and more treats. Go ahead, help yourself to some candy, and save me the smoothies. Until next time, my pretties, don't eat too much candy. Unless it's a candy apple.